Hi everybody, welcome back. Now it's time to stand on our hands. So why is it important for us to do arm balances or to do asana that encourages us to build upper body strength? Well, for that very reason. We need to build upper body strength. And that's important as we get older that we maintain upper body strength because it will allow us to live independently for longer. And for those of us who may not be going to the gym and lifting weights or lifting heavy weights or doing a circuit training, sometimes this is the only strength training we might get. And I can't tell you that there's anything that is more intense than pushing your whole body weight up into the air on your two hands. And for me, I spent the better part of 10 years trying to hop up into handstand. And when I finally got there, then I decided I would do it every day for a year. So it becomes I find this exhilarating, almost addictive practice of going upside down. And one of the greatest things about handstand for me is often the change of perspective and the exhilaration that my body is strong enough to go upside down. So that may not happen for all of us. It may have to do with strength, the strength of our upper body not being there quite yet, but we can work towards that. And then it might be something as simple as what I call fearasana. I am afraid to have all my body weight on my hands. So that's why the wall is important, right? Because the wall can support us. And know that we are in a place where we can be safe. So we'll be using a bolster, perhaps a block, standing next to the wall. But I'm going to show you the very easiest handstand you'll ever do, and we're going to do it right here, right now. You ready? So bring your feet maybe a little bit closer together than about 2 fist width apart. Whatever's comfortable where you can have equal weight in both feet. And then root down through your feet. So push down into the floor. Ordinarily, I would tell you to push down and push wide, but there's nothing to push against in a handstand. So we're just going to push down because that's going to be the action of lifting our legs up. So firm your belly. So often when we're kicking up into handstand, you get a lot of this banana back kind of thing going on, and that will keep you from finding the balance of your hips over your shoulders. So let's think about moving the low ribs back and contracting the abdominals. So what does that mean? The hip bones and the low ribs are drawing toward each other, and the hip points are drawing into each other. So think of it that way. So we're lining our shoulders up over our hips and our hips up over our ankles. And now, from this place of integration, reach your arms up to the sky, palms into the ceiling, and look between your hands. Okay, handstand done. Thanks for the tutorial. Just kidding. So that's the first part. So we all can do handstand, right? Yeah, so this is the sensation. So you're pushing into the floor, and you're pushing out of the heels. And that's the action that we're going for. Exhale and release. So this particular tutorial is going to show you some ways to get strong enough to get to handstand progressively. Some of you might get to do handstand. None of you might get to do handstand, but I can guarantee we'll all get stronger. So let's do a little warm up to start, just so we're in the headspace for this. Come to the top of your mat. Lift and spread your toes, root down through your feet. Let's just do a very basic sun salute. Inhale, reach your arms high to the sky. Exhale, fold, and bring your hands either to blocks or to the earth. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. And now let's step back to either tabletop or plank. So pick your pose. So if you're working with stage one, a slower progression to the pose, you're going to follow James. And if you're moving and you need more sensation and maybe handstand is a practice within your realm, then you'll follow Dana. And now shift your shoulders forward toward the top of the mat and lower all the way down to the floor. Before you roll through to Cobra, stretch your arms out in front and stretch your legs back against the wall. So turn your palms up like you were pressing into the floor. So the base of the palms will be pressing into the floor and the palms will be pressing away from you just to get the action of what it is to be in handstand. Good. Walk your hands back towards your chest, lining your hands up on either side of your chest, pulling the lower tips of the shoulder blades together, lifting the heart. Let's come into a little cobra. And then exhale. James, come back to tabletop. And Dana, come back to downward facing dog. So in tabletop, let's do a few cat-cows here. Maybe do a little rolling of the body, move your head side to side. Just get a little creative here. And Dana, do what feels good. So if you want to pedal your feet or come up onto your toes or move your head around, just start to feel how your body feels because we're going to ask it to do something really incredible and we just want it to be ready. Good. And now go ahead and come forward to top of a push-up. Shift the shoulders forward. You can do this from your knees or all the way up, whatever you like. And what I'm doing here is I'm testing their strength. Are they going to be strong enough to hold themselves up for a bit? And that's what we're testing here, although I don't want to wear you guys out. So come forward into plank and lower down. Inhale, roll through. Exhale, tabletop or down dog. And now let's walk our hands or walk our feet forward towards our hands. So you can either step forward or walk forward till we find our way in forward fold. And now inhale, reach our arms high to the sky. Exhale, hands through heart center. So I don't want to tire out anybody too much. And quite frankly, you don't need a whole lot of warming up to do handstand. We did a hip opening class, so we're pretty ready for this. So we're going to go ahead and play at the wall. Are you ready? All right, so let's step about halfway down our mat. Take a nice deep breath in and circle our arms high to the sky. Exhale, fold. Place your hands either on blocks or on the floor, whatever you can reach. And from here, you're going to need 2 blocks. Step back into downward facing dog with your feet at the baseboard. So this is going to be a short dog. So if you have sore wrists, I like to come up onto blocks here. If you're okay to press into your hands, go ahead and press into your hands. All right. So pressing down into the blocks, let's take one leg up the wall as far as it will go. Yeah, perfect. So we're going to stay here and work on maintaining balance, perhaps walking the blocks forward, just feeling where you are. And if you're ready to add a little bit of strength here, Dana, push into the hands and lift your left heel off the floor. Now lower down. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Good. One more time. Lift up, lower down. Lift up, lower down. And what you're going to do is push your heel back into the wall and push the floor away from you. And now release. Come back to your downward facing dog. And let's take our knees to the floor and take a little bit of a rest here. I'm going to ask you to do a lot, so take lots of rests here. Take a break. So now we need to do this on the other side. Things to remember. Fingertips are spread out really wide, pushing down into the knuckles of your hands, the L of your hand. Pushing the floor away from you, hugging the forearms in towards you, and using your hands to push into the wall. So the wall's there just to help us build our strength. And quite frankly, if we're balancing with 1 or 2 feet kind of hovering near the wall or on the wall, we're actually handstanding. So there's lots of ways that we can do arm balances. Plank is an arm balance, side plank is an arm balance. There's all kinds of ways where we're putting weight into our hands that don't necessarily mean that our feet have to come up over our hands. So now I think you've rested enough. You can come up into tabletop position and find your way back to downward facing dog. So if you are pressing your heels back into the wall, notice how much strength it takes to push the blocks away from you. So technically we are actually standing on our hands here because we are pushing into our hands and to the wall. So now you want to take the left leg up the wall as far as you can go. Press your toe into the wall, push into the blocks a little bit, and if you're feeling strong enough, just try to lift the heel up and maybe lower it down. So even on the blocks, as long as you feel solid and stable on the blocks, you can play with that from here as well. Keeping in mind, if this is not in your wheelhouse, it's okay. You can just work at pushing the floor away from you because we're still building strength. Let's do one more. Okay, go ahead and come down and take a little bit of a rest. So there's going to be lots of breaks in here because I want you to be strong enough to make it to possibly hopping up. So keeping in mind that this not happen for everyone, and that's okay. Okay, as long as we're building strength. So next, we're going to move into L at the wall. So it's getting progressively a little more difficult. So L at the wall is very similar to what we did just now, which I kind of think of as warrior at the wall. So go ahead and come into tabletop position. There's a way I like to measure this. So let's turn and face the wall. And stretch your legs straight out so that your legs are touching the baseboard. Good. Now this is not an exact measurement, so keep this in mind. It gives us an idea of where our hands should be. And now you're going to place your hands by your hips. Okay, so now that's kind of the measurement we're going to do. So your legs are straight to get a kind of an L shape. And now you're going to flip over. So what I'm going to do is Dana's going to take her right hand and replace it where her left hand is so that we mark it, and then she's going to flip into tabletop position. James is going to do the same. If you're comfortable using the blocks, you can play with the blocks. If not, maybe you want to try coming onto your hands. You may not come up all the way, so I'm going to give you some options here. From here, you're going to come into a short downward facing dog. Now this is going to feel really, really short, right? So if we look at James, it feels short. So James, maybe walk your hands a little bit forward, but not too much. Again, I said it's not an exact science. So here's the trick. When you come up into L at the wall, unless you have force, and what do I mean by force? You have to push yourself off the wall. You are not going to flip over. What might end up happening is if you're not strong enough in your upper body, your elbows will start to buckle and your legs will slide down the wall. That's the worst case scenario. In order to keep your legs at the wall, you want to contract between your lower shoulder blades so that you're in this position pushing away from the floor. That's going to give you the most power. So now take your right leg about hip height up the wall. So for some of us, that might be as far as we get. For others, James is ready to go. You can push your foot into the wall and step your left leg up. Ooh, look at you. And then you can walk your feet up. So this was the modified. So walk your feet up, that's okay. Walk your feet up a little bit. Not so high, just a little bit. So I'm looking to get an L at the wall. Ooh, I'm working these guys hard. So go ahead, press into the wall, walk your feet up, like there we go. So push in the wall and now, yes, knees bent is nice, really helpful. Stick your butt up into the air. Good, now walk your feet down the wall. Oh my gosh, take a break. Can I tell you a secret? L at the wall is way harder than handstand. So if you can master that, you may never have to do handstand, right? The handstand hard part is the fearasana of falling on your face, and that's a real fear, right? Like I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you guys. Ready to move on? This is our progressive build into handstand, yikes. All right, second, you ready? Short down dog. So you know how to do the measurement. This is just a little bit of fun. Spread your fingertips out. Hip height is what we're going for. So step your foot, right or left, up to hip height. Ooh, I know. I'm trying not to wear you guys out. Take a breath. And when you're ready, press into that foot. Step the other foot up. Oh, lift your bum. Look back towards, yes. Now, the next progression, I want you to stay here, James, is to lift one leg up to the sky. Okay, so now we learn, everybody always brings it a little bit too far. Make sure you're rotating that inner thigh in, you're pushing out through the heel, and your leg is nice and straight. Yep, come down when you're ready, and exhale, come down. So now we're most of the way to handstand. You know, we have to do the second side, right? The other leg has to go up, take a little bit of a break. I'm watching everybody's face here. Breathe, yep. Wow, good. Walk all the way down the wall slowly. Ooh, and take a break. Okay, are you ready? We have to do the one leg extension on the other side. So we're working towards this. I hope you're finding this fun because we're just experimenting with going upside down. Good. And now if you took the left leg up, you can walk your feet up higher if you like, James. You can experiment. Woo, good. And now walk your feet all the way down. All right, take a break. So now we're gonna play with hopping up. Maybe. Sometimes we're just gonna do donkey kicks, which I think is fun, and sometimes we're gonna play. So I am going to demo, and I'm gonna grab your space if that's okay. Okay, I just wanna show you what we're gonna do, and then we're gonna play, okay? So, here's what happens when you're learning how to hop up into handstand, okay? This is what always happens. You are so desperate to get your feet up that you're doing this. Right? I call this donkey kick. So what I want you to try doing, if you're just getting started progressively, is just to hop and swing. So there's a push leg and a swing leg. If you're feeling like you're ready to try it a little more, you want to hop and touch your heel to the wall and come down. Hop, touch your heel to the wall and come down. Now, if this gives you pause and fear, you can add a bolster at the wall and push your upper back into the bolster as you're starting to feel where you catch yourself. Does that make sense? Want to give it a try? Are you scared? Yes. Don't be scared. We're just keeping it 100 here, right? This is how we learn. We play in our body, right? Are you ready? Let's add the bolster for everybody. Bolsters for everyone. Okay. All right. So now come to tabletop position at the wall. You can straddle. I like to have my hands a little closer to the wall. That's my safety blanket. So if you want to maybe straddle outer edges of the bolster. And sometimes I like to use the back of my head to push into the bolster to give myself a little bit of leverage. So we can play with that as well. Come into a short down dog. Ooh, walk your feet in a little bit closer. And remember, there's a push leg and a swing leg. So we're only pushing and swinging. Our intention isn't actually to get up here. This is the first step. You ready? Give it a try. Push and swing. I see you all are scared. No, you don't have to. You can, hey, if you want to do this progressively, just lift one leg and lower, and lift the other leg and lower. Okay? Just get used to the idea. But if you want to try swinging, right, that's option one, you can push and swing. You got a big pillow right behind you. Okay, so see, that's how it starts, right? Walk your feet back a little bit because your shoulders are too far. Yep, good. Push and swing. Yes, push it. Oh, maybe one leg at a time. Woo! And see, okay, so come down, everybody. Rest. So did you see what James did? He did that bicycle with his legs. When we do the bicycle with our legs, that leg that bicycles pulls our hips down to the floor, which is what you want to go push and straight leg. Because when you try really hard to get that other leg up, both legs get pulled down at the same time. So nobody said this was going to be easy, right? Okay, let's try this again. Push and swing, straight leg. So if you want to take the bolster away, this is the next level. No bolster. Yes! See, James? All right. Play. Woo, James! That wasn't, well, that was good. Okay. That was not the intention, but you see how this works, right? It just happens, and then you freak yourself out and you fall out of it. So try not to do that. Bring your hands in a little closer, Dana. Good. And now bend, push, and swing. And now play. Oh, I've created a... You created a monster because you got up. Have you ever gotten up before, James? Yeah. Okay, good. So this is working. All right, play. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to play. Push and take your hips back. There you go. Keep going. Push hips back. Yay! Get a little hang time. Take a break. Okay, I know you're excited. And then you just work on swinging, and eventually you'll see what James, he didn't intend to come up, but that's what happens, right? You play a little bit. Good, let's do a couple more. Oh, you're taking it without the mat. All right. And when you get tired, take a break, because after a while you get tired and you just won't get your hips up anymore. So don't keep doing it every day until it becomes like you get up and it's no problem. And if you're doing the kick and the swing leg, what I tell people is kick up 4 times on one side, kick up 4 times on the other. So I just told you this becomes addictive, right? One more, a little more oomph. You got it, one more. There it is. We'll take a rest, one more. I know. Perfect, and rest. Woo. So, is it normal to be out of breath when you go upside down? Absolutely. So let's take a moment to pause and catch our breath. So rest in a pose that feels good for you. So whether that's child's pose, coming to seated, playing. Here's the thing with handstand. I think it's a little bit of fun. If you can get over the fear of hoisting your entire body onto your hands, I find that this particular practice takes me back to being a little kid, doing cartwheels on the lawn when I was 8 years old and having no fear of falling on my face. So now I know better, right? I've been in this body for quite some time, and I know if I fall down, it's probably really going to hurt. But the beauty of it is your body is stronger than you think. And if you're very worried about your hands buckling when you come up, stick with L at the wall and work on building your strength there. I used to run an L at the wall challenge every year. So seeing if I could stay up for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. I once held up for an entire minute, keeping in mind that L at the wall is way harder than handstand. And that allowed me to build my strength. My chaturanga got stronger, my downward facing dog got stronger, side plank got stronger, because I was just building upper body strength. And that's all this is about. Now, if you're feeling adventurous and you want to try hopping up, there's lots of ways. We saw James hops up 2 feet butt back. That's the hardest way to hop up, by the way, James. Way to go. And then we saw Dana getting a little bit of a swing and hang time. So what did we learn about this process of going upside down? That it's a practice, and it's going to take time, and we're not all going to get up at the same time. But if we keep playing and exploring and trying, something magical might happen. So I would always practice this with somebody at home if you're worried about it. You also can practice it in a door jamb if you have a door jamb that's narrow enough, with the door jamb coming between your shoulder blades and your feet up against the wall. Take your time. My process or journey to handstand took a full year of me kicking up 8 times on the right side and 8 times on the left side, and then one day it just happened. And then I did it every day since. So try. So why don't we end this class with legs up the wall? Because you guys have worked really hard and I don't want to push you any further. So when you're tired, please take a break. So go ahead, and there's no cute way to get into legs up the wall. Go ahead and move the bolster away. And what you do is come onto your side and take your butt cheek right up against the wall, and then slide your legs up. So you gotta get right close to it, because if you, just like Dana's doing, butt cheek right up against the wall, lean down and then slide the legs up. That's the easiest way to get into it. If you need a little more support, go ahead and place a blanket underneath your hips. But make sure your butt is actually touching the baseboard. Bring your hands to your belly. Close your eyes. And just be thankful for whatever you got done today. Breathing deeply and slowly. So I hope you had a little bit of fun with this. This was like impromptu, unscripted, just kind of a little bit of fun. Playing with figuring out how strong we are, facing our fears, and doing a little bit of progressive handstand. Namaste, everyone.